Joining me is Mr. Vinish Bawa, partner and telecom sector leader at PwC India. Vinish, thank you for joining us on Business Today. I'd like to begin by asking you that what policy or regulatory shifts are most critical do you see for India to accelerate investment in telecom-led digital infrastructure?
I think telecom-led digital infrastructure is one of the key ingredients that this country needs for its growth in this whole digital economy that the country is looking at. And this whole digital infrastructure, let's understand what it means. It means the whole fiber part, the satellite communication, the tower infra, and the whole data center infrastructure that is needed. All this is evolving a lot in the country. A lot of growth is happening. And regulations towards all this is what is needed, and it is evolving. Every state in the country is looking at regulations, support, and incentives on this digital infra. And even at the central level, there are policies that are happening on supporting the growth of digital infrastructure. So there has to be a central policy which already is in the pipeline, and for satellite communication also there is a policy which is coming. So that's the need of the hour, to have policies in this space at a centrally controlled level for the growth of this segment.
Got it. How have you seen the 5G technology translating into a stronger economic impact for the country on ground for the years that it has been present?
Absolutely. See, 5G growth has happened a lot now. These days, coverage is almost 80 to 90% level in the country of 5G that is happening. What has impacted 5G is, besides the consumer and high data speeds that are happening, there's a lot of industrial use cases today that are live. Right? We see smart factories, we are seeing smart ports, we are seeing smart agriculture. All this is powered by 5G. Today, there are live use cases of drones being used by by the farming community for helping them with predictions or the climate, etc. Right? Also with the irrigation facilities, how the soil quality is there. That's one use case. For e-education, all that which was a theory earlier has now become practical because of 5G. So a lot of education use cases are there. Healthcare, robotic surgery is live today. India has a lot of robotic surgeries happening because of 5G technology. There are factories which are having the whole assembly line fully automated. Those are called smart factories. The whole mines, there are a lot of mines which are using 5G as a technology for privatization. So all this is live working, and this is where 5G adoption has happened, and that's the actual usage of 5G which this country is, again, it's work in progress, growing more and more, but that's the real impact of 5G in the industries.
How far is the road to 6G? Because the government has been talking about it for quite some time, but there has been some, I'd say, temporary stall on it, while, of course, the plans are still on.
Absolutely. In my guess, India is one of the countries that is leading the whole evolution of 6G. Personal guess around 2030. That's where the technology should be up and running. A lot of standardization work is happening. A lot of use case development. What 6G will actually do, that work is already started happening. So it's another 4 to 5 years, I think, down the line that 6G should happen.
By 2030, in a full-fledged mode.
Start of it.
Yeah. Start of it by 2030. Okay, in terms of government industry partnerships, where do you see this sector paving a stronger path when it comes to the rural area or semi-urban areas?
See, this sector, I always keep on saying, is almost the pipe for any growth in any sector in the country. If there is an infrastructure development that needs to happen, say airports or say railways, you need the whole digital infrastructure to be there for any digitization in the airports to happen. So government is working very closely with all the private companies for supporting the growth of digital infrastructure for any of their policies. Let's take examples. Digi Yatra, there is an app, right? It works on some cloud. So there is that whole automation already there which is in progress for supporting application like that. There are these airports which are there. The whole experience of the airport these days is powered by digital infrastructure. So government partnering with private. And let's take rural cases. I gave examples of agriculture and all. So if you have to take the broadband to the villages, which projects like BharatNet are brilliant projects doing that, the use cases have to be developed. Now private companies are coming up and developing that ecosystem of use cases for them to be used. So the connectivity is being provided, and companies giving use case for the end user to be the end farmer or the villager to help in their use case development. Education, health, money transfer, all these things are happening. So that's a classic case of partnership of government putting the infrastructure, private ecosystem creating use cases for the end user.
Okay. Since the air currently is talking more about geopolitical issues and everybody's talking about China, US, Japan, Korea, I want to know from the digital infrastructure perspective on telecom, how far are we when it comes to, say, South Korea or China?
I think India, in terms of the growth, in terms of the usage, is right up there. In fact, data consumption right now is more than the countries that you mentioned. India's data consumption is in the top 2 in the world.
And cheaper.
Right now. And cheaper, absolutely. So we have low ARPUs, we have low cost of usage, and then higher volume of usage. So that part is very, very clear. The innovation coming out of India is also on par with the countries, with anywhere in the world, in terms of the type of companies coming up, the use cases on agentic AI which are being developed over here, and you add to the massive data consumption that is going on. I think India is right up there, and there's a long way for the progression to happen. If I give some example, there are certain companies which have come with innovative business models on digital infrastructure coming out of India and now going to Southeast Asia as well. So, that's what we are seeing evolving out of India. So, no longer we have any difference. It is right on par. There are certain technologies that other countries might be better on, but India is catching up and has a lot of new innovative stuff coming up out of this country.
Okay, one quick last question. I'd like to address the elephant in the room, which is the DRDP Act, which has been quite long pending now. Hoping things move ahead quickly. Do you see there'll be a lot of compliance for key telecom companies to align with this?
See, regulatory and compliance in these kind of things is always one catches the other, right? There is something which comes up, and then there is more privacy issues happens, and there is more policies. So that ecosystem always will keep on evolving. I think good steps by the government in terms of coming up with a policy and more, sort of implementation and more policies on the same regard are going to come, like AI regulations. That's another policy which will come on that. So I think that catching up will always happen. Government is definitely taking positive steps towards that, and we will see more of that coming up.
Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.